This week on the Nindie Focus Podcast, the cast discussed the games SnakeyBus, Galaxy of Pen and Paper, Letter Quest, and more Broforce. Then we review the game Xeodrifter in our Switching on a Budget game. It all starts right now. And welcome to another episode of the Nindie Focus Podcast. My name is Roger Reichert, and with me this week are my co-host Phil.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
And my co-host
Sorry,
Jordan.
you want it more stoked than that? I got cut off guard. I was responding to a work text.
And I have Jordan along with me.
Yo.
And Mike as well.
Me hello.
Me hello. Welcome, everybody, to the show. We have actually quite a bit to talk about this week. Before we get into switching on a budget game, let's talk about the games that we're currently playing. And Mike, we'll start with you. What games are you currently playing this week?
Indie game. My pick, the game that I'm playing this week, is Letter Quest.
I love this game.
Yes. What is Letter Quest, do you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's a very relaxing RPG. When they say there's Switch games that are essentially mobile games, that's always not necessarily a bad thing. Because this is one of those games, but it's great to play in handheld mode. But essentially, it's an turn-based RPG, and instead of selecting attacks, you have a board that's kind of like a boggle board,
Mm-hmm.
and you create words using the letters there. And the longer the word, and the more obscure each letter has like a power dot, I guess you could say. So like a letter like E or T or R will have one, but a letter like W or M might have two or three, even for a Q. So the more complex the word and the more letters that go into each word, the stronger the attack. So you're just basically, I mean, it's a fun, cutesy RPG. And you are just making these different words to attack your enemies, and they attack you back. They could also put curses on some of the letters on your board that, like spikes that can cause damage to you, or poison that, of course, causes you damage over a couple turns. There's also like a magic shop where you can buy upgrades. You could buy potions. You could buy different perks for your character. Not only that, but once you're done, so once you get through the whole story mode and everything, then each stage has 4 different settings on it. So you can play it regular, then there's a time attack, then there's another mode that where there's a special condition for each enemy. So there's a lot of replayability to it, and then of course there's also endless mode, which you could just do that and play for fun. There's in-game achievements on it. One of the achievements is to spell the word bacon, which...
Oh, really?
Yep.
Who doesn't love it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's just it's the game that I like to play before going to bed, just to kind of help me relax.
Yeah.
And that's a game that relatively, that routinely, I should say, goes on sale on the Switch eShop.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Right. So if you're looking for a great puzzle game, a word-based puzzle game, I haven't had this much fun. Does anyone ever heard of a game that came out for the DS? It was called Word Zhong. And it was basically Mahjong, but instead of the tiles, it was letters, and you just had to spell different words to get rid of the tiles. So I enjoy a good word puzzle game. So it gets the Mike recommendation, thumbs up, 4 out of 5 star.
Wow.
I don't know, A or A minus.
Wow.
Whatever else you can give it. 7 out of 10. Too much water.
Yeah, I will also say too, the other thing
Thank you.
I do like the fact that you can also, like, I've streamed this game and it's fun to play with like a crowd because they can throw out words and they feel like they're part of the experience as well. So it's a lot of fun, even if you're looking for like something that you can stream with friends and then they can watch and help you out. So I love this game. It's a fun game.
Very fun game. Highly recommended.
Yeah, and like you said, it's on sale quite a bit. So check it out.
Yep.
Cool. What about you, Phil? What have you been playing?
I continued trudging my way through Broforce, and I mean trudging in the best possible way imaginable, because I'm still having a lot of fun with it and still unlocking more and more characters as they continue to pop up upon me. Other than that, unfortunately, all I really had time to play was the game that we're going to be talking about later, which I'm not going to reveal at this juncture, but it's also been a lot more fun than I anticipated.
Oh, nice. With Broforce, what have you unlocked the Neo character?
Neo?
Yeah. From Matrix?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. No, I don't think I have.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
How did you surpass me? I put like another 2 hours into the game. I also got really stuck for a small period of time where I only had one life left and I was heading into it.
Oh,
like just died repeatedly and often. I got a little frustrated, but I kept trudging through it and I made it through the level and another couple after that, but I didn't unlock the Neo character yet.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm super jealous.
Neo, and then there was one other character that
I gotta go.
unlocked recently. Yeah, I don't remember the other one that I unlocked. But I made it. I'm on level 5 right now. I think this is where they like just explosions happening all.
Yeah, that's where I am too. Is level 5.
Yeah, it's really tough. Well, if you die enough, you
unlock enough people.
You unlock people. So.
All right, note to self: die more.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I love that game. And Indiana Brones. Oh,
Indiana Brones was awesome.
He is so awesome. He is so cool. Mike, have you played it yet?
Broforce?
Yeah.
I did dabble in it a little bit, yes.
Oh, you did?
The game's challenging, especially if you want to try to get all of your characters to survive.
Yeah, it's not easy. But man, I love the explosions and just like how it makes how they made it into like such a Broforce, or well, obviously Broforce, but just like a bro movie. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Explosions happening like a Michael Bay movie with pixelated art is so awesome.
Well, and sometimes like you'll shoot something and you won't even realize the chain of events you're about to set off, and you're like, oh crap, the entire level looks different now. How in the hell am I going to get back up there?
Yeah, I love that game. The game is so fun. It's just goofy. It's just so silly. But no, yeah, you ought to. There was one other character I unlocked, and I don't remember who it was, but the Neo character, I was like, cool. I
haven't made it there yet. That's tomorrow's plan.
All right, cool. Jordan, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so I picked up SnakeyBus.
You did?
Yeah.
I glanced at that.
Have any of you played it? Or have you played it or no?
I just saw the trailers for it. It just looks wacky.
I love SnakeyBus. It's new on Switch. It was on PC. I don't know what else, maybe just PC, but it's new on Switch as of this month. I love it. It's basically Snake, like you used to play on the old Nokia phones, but in 2020. So you're basically a bus, and it's public transit, and you're on a little map, and you just drive around picking up passengers at a very fast speed and then try to take them to the destination. And as you do so, your bus grows longer and longer, like, it does in Snake when you eat the little dots. And then unlike Snake, you're allowed to run into yourself, so you can hit yourself. You only lose if your bus stops for, I think it's like 1 or 1.5 seconds. So like once there's no more movement, like if you're stuck against a building, or I guess if you fall in water, it's like an instant death and stuff like that. So that's the main gist. But then you also have like a huge rocket boost thing you can do, which launches you up into the air. So you can technically like drive and launch yourself into the air over like half the level, and then the rest of the bus will still follow that arc. So if you have like 140 cars on your bus, like they will all follow that. So you'll still be driving around the level, picking up other passengers, and you'll see the bus still in the air from like the back of it and stuff like that. So as you get longer, you actually want to do that as a strategy because it frees up some space on the ground. And the levels aren't massive. Which is good because it means that you're not driving around for like 10 minutes before it starts getting hectic. Like it gets pretty hectic pretty quickly. And they have 11 maps. There's like, they have some cities like Paris and Miami and Seattle, and they're very like truncated version. So it's like you'll be at the Eiffel Tower and then there's like the Louvre is like right next to it kind of thing. But those are like some of the stops that you'll take your passengers to. And then there's other buses you unlock as you play. So you start off with a normal bus. You can get like a party bus that's like all like rainbowed out and flashing. There's like a double-decker bus. Like, so you get different buses. There's different modes. So classic mode is just the main one where it's like you just go for as long as you can. There's a time one where you have to, it made me feel like I was playing Crazy Taxi again, where it's like you have to get the passengers and quickly take them to the spot, and that'll like increase your time. But it was really, really hard. So I didn't get very far in that, but it was fun. And there's also just like an endless mode. There was also a really cool, some of the levels are very interesting. Like one is a dorm, so you're like very small and you're driving around like chairs and like beds and stuff like that. So there's like really, really cool stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. It's fun just to pick up and play for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like really short sessions. You can play for way longer because it is a lot of fun, and you learn the maps pretty quickly. So you know, like, okay, I can turn down here and then maybe I'll like rocket boost up there. But it's just a lot of fun, and I think it's maybe $10.
Wow!
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got a bit on sale, but I think it's around $10. But it's definitely worth it. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that game. I saw that game, and it looked interesting. I'm glad that you were playing it because I was kind of on the fence with getting that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great, and I think there's also. There are leaderboards, so I think that you can see your friends' scores too, like on top of yours. So you can also like challenge friends and stuff like that. I know they have leaderboards, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a fun little arcade driving game. Yeah, it's just silly. It's fun, and like for example, when you pick up passengers. They're at the bus stop, and when you drive past, you obviously are going very quick, and so they kind of just like fly after your bus, like they get sucked in like a weird like motion, and so they're like screaming as they're getting sucked into your bus as you drive past, just like weird stuff like that. But yeah, it's good fun.
Oh wow, that sounds fun.
Cool. Yeah, going by your description of it, it sounds like a little bit of Snake, a little bit of Crazy Taxi with some San Francisco Rush thrown in there.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like the fact that a lot of these games are doing the online leaderboard stuff. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that throwback to the old school arcade feel. Like, there's something great about taking over somebody else's score that it makes you want to pat yourself on the back and high-five yourself.
Yeah. I think I might pick this game up now. Just to challenge you, Jordan. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Bring it on.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. We should actually, we maybe I'll post this on Twitter, but maybe we could do a Nindie Focus like high score challenge. That would be a thing that we could probably do and like challenge other people to try to beat our high score in this game. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. The game that I've been playing, I only got to play a little bit of it because I just picked it up, and that is the game Galaxy of Pen and Paper. Have anyone heard of the series?
I've heard of Knights
Paper?
of Pen and Paper.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. So it's the same premise. Except this one takes place. Well, it takes place in the future. Well, the game that you're playing is taking place in the future, but actually it's so meta. So you're playing characters that are playing characters like in a tabletop role-playing game.
So you're God.
Kind of, yeah. It's weird. So you create your game master and you give them a name and you can make them look however you want. And then you create, in the beginning, two additional characters, and you get to pick what kind of race they are and what kind of, so they're like human races or alien races, and then you can pick like what their like job is. So you can be like a mechanic, or you can be a bounty hunter, or whatever. And then the race and the jobs give you different stats for your character, and then it's so meta. So you're playing in 1999. The game takes place in 1999, but the game that you're playing takes place in 2999. So it takes like place 1,000 years later in the future. It's so weird, and it's so interesting. It's like. So what happens is that you'll sit at this table and you're playing, the two players and the game master, but they're all talking to each other. So you're not actually answering any of their questions, but they're talking like, oh, like, look at this guy. Why is he doing this? And then the dungeon master pretends to be that person, and he like brings in this NPC and they start talking. It's so meta. And it's so cool though to be playing that right now, especially since like I can't get together with people to play like D&D. Right. It's really fun to play like this virtual D&D, in this like meta world. It's so weird. But then there'll be things like you'll be playing and they'll like set the scene, and then the scene around you will turn into the scene that he's describing. So the game master will say like, oh, you're on a desert island or desert planet, and this alien comes up and he comes walking in and he says all this stuff. And then all of a sudden this door opens and it's the mom coming in. It's like, what, are you kids gonna want some snacks or something like that? It's
just pulling you back out again.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, Mom, we're fine. Like, that's,
That's pretty humorous.
It is really funny. It's so creative. So I haven't played it. I haven't played much of it. Only played a couple missions. So you like play in a campaign, and there's a little bit of like sci-fi western to it. And you can kind of tell because they have like the sci-fi western music, and then they'll have like other music, like this battle music. The music is fantastic in this game, and the game itself is just it's so cool. I mean, just a cool concept to be playing characters who are playing characters in this tabletop role-playing game. It's just so weird.
How does it play? Is it like a turn-based like strategy or RPG? Like,
yeah, so that's a good question. So it's a turn-based RPG. So you get to pick, like, so I only played like 2 missions so far. So the first mission is you have to kill, and this actually was the same with Knights of Pen and Paper, because I played the first Knights of Pen and Paper. There's actually 2 of them. I only played the first one. But it's the same thing where like the first thing you have to do is like defeat 3 monsters. And, so the dungeon master sets up this thing where this like evil character is like, if you want off this planet and because you owe me all this money, go kill these like monsters in this like warehouse that I own. And you have to go kill them, and you can choose to take on just 1 monster at a time and then do that like 3 times, or you can try to take on 2 monsters and then kill them both and then kill another one, or you can try taking on all 3 monsters at the same time. But that's how you like make the game more difficult. So if you want to play it kind of easy, just if it's gonna take you longer, say fine, I'll just fight 1 monster at this time, kill it, do it again. So you get to balance how difficult you want this game to be. It's so cool, and your characters level up and they get different stats. It's just such a unique idea that you're playing characters that are playing characters in a role-playing game. I love it. It's so good. So I'll be playing more of that. I have been playing some Broforce 2, obviously. So, but yeah, and then obviously the game that we'll be talking about today during our Switching on a Budget segment. But before going to that, so now that we're done talking about the games we're playing, let's do a new segment, and it's called Strange Game of the eShop. And Jordan, you have a strange game.
I
that
do.
You found.
I'm going to preface it by saying I have not played this. This is not something that I have like bought and purchased.
yeah, that's a great way to start it.
I just sent it to you, Jordan.
Damn
Go
it,
ahead and
no,
dive in.
I refuse. I just want to get that out there because people are going to look it up. I have not played this. I just was scrolling through the eShop one night and this was there and I got very intrigued by the picture and then looked into it and it is the weirdest thing. So I'm just going to read the description that Nintendo has on their site for this game, exactly how it is. And it's going to sound like some of the words and sentences I'm saying don't make sense, that is just how it is written. Okay. Here we go. The game is called Summer Sweetheart.
Aw.
First sentence tells that the hero spends a wonderful year with 10 girls.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here we go.
It's
Summer
not Summer
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart anymore.
No, Summer Sweetheart is a game of lovely Juliet. The main plot is played by real people. Voice actor part is assumed by the famous CV Asami Imai and Naomi Wakabayashi. In the game, the player, in the first view, encounters with multiple heroines. This is a brand new love story. The main line has multiple story choices and endings. In addition, there are some personal stories about other branch line girls. We can arrange our schedule in the game, such as inviting the heroine to have a date, encountering other girls on the street, work, or study. You can also customize the appearance of a girl, unlock the portrait photos. This is where it starts getting really creepy. Event videos. We'll talk about these soon. And the personal information of the girls.
Oh my god.
More game contents wait for you to find out. And then below that, there are descriptions for the two girls that give their height, their date of birth, their weight, their measurements. So here is the introduction for one of the main girls that you can try to date in the game. A pride young girl. I graduated from art department, a cartoonist, enthusiastic, confident, beautiful, and kind. My appearance may seem to be strong, but I fear darkness and solitude. And the other character, a pure and lovely cat girl. When I was little, my mother raised me like a cat. I have little contact with the outside world. I like to play the role of a cat, and my personality is lovely and gentle. Okay.
Oh my god.
We should probably stop before Roger.
Oh my god.
The look on my face, unfortunately, is not captured, but
Oh my god. This is the best.
So that's the description of the game, and honestly, right now, as you're listening to this, if you haven't already started looking this up, you should, just so you can see what this is all about. So it is like real women. It's like actual footage of these women, actresses, that are, it's live action, and you try to date them, and it's just, it's so creepy. It's so very creepy. I don't know how this is on the eShop.
There it is.
It's so creepy. Like, some of the shots are just all about showing the cleavage and stuff. Like, it's all about, like, I don't know how this is on the eShop. It's so weird. It's so creepy. Like, some of the footage is just so, oh my God. You just have to look it up.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
hey, Mike, you know what this means?
No, I don't.
Ski Sniper is safe.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right, good. We retain the title
Yeah.
of weirdest game. I saw a video of this on YouTube because, oh my God, there's no way I would purchase it. But like, there's the girl who thinks she's a cat that you're dating.
Yeah.
And there's a part in the game where she's like, I want to be just like a cat. And she tries to take her top off. And then the narrator, the person that you're playing as, tells her not to.
Yeah.
So at least it's good to see that they have a line.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, no, Mike. There was another video I watched where it was the first 15 minutes of gameplay, and your character is walking around this park, and you run into this drunk girl, and she's like walking, and she passes out. And of course, what would you do with a passed out girl but to bring her home? Because, you want to make sure she's safe.
Yes,
I don't know.
safe.
That's sarcastic,
I'm sure that's what we're going for.
Yeah. So then the next scene is she's in your bed naked, and she wakes up and she's pulling the sheets up over her. And she's like, "What are you doing, you pervert?" And I'm like, "What the hell is this? What the hell is this?"
It's so weird. Yeah. And you just like unlock more and more pictures and like videos. So it's like, I'm looking at a screenshot here, and it's like the collection for this one girl is like, this shot is her coming out of a pool in a bikini. Every other one is just like cleavage. Let's see, there's strip game, shaving, desire, makeup, game. Like, these are just the titles of these videos. And you just like unlock these videos and screenshots and stuff. But then there is like actual gameplay, which is so weird. There's like little mini games you play with like a little chibi version of like your dude. But they're just like the weirdest. None of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. Like, this game as a whole makes no sense. I think it's a way to launder money to somebody. They're just like selling this game, and someone is buying 4,000 copies of it, and that's just so they can get the money to whoever created this. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It is so weird.
Also, there's got to be like a national registry somewhere that picks up whoever purchased these.
I
this
would
game.
sure hope so.
100%.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like you can't buy this game if you're within 600 feet of a school or a playground or something.
Exactly. Well, and it's also the weird thing too is like, so I was watching a little bit of the gameplay, and apparently, I mean, that's what I was gonna bring up too, Jordan, that you played this all the other characters, like these females are like actors except for you. You're like this little chibi character.
Yeah.
And so weird. And then you have to like have a job where you make money, but you're not making money, you're making gold pieces. I don't know. It's weird. It's so bizarre. And then you have to use that money to go on dates with these girls. It's so weird.
I just feel so like
so weird.
I could only look and like research this game a little bit because I just was getting too skeeved out. Like, the more I was watching it, it's like the live action, like first person view, like of these women is so, it feels creepy. Like, it feels very like voyeuristic, even though it's like, yes, they're acting for this. It feels so wrong. It just feels gross.
Yeah.
It's a cute dating sim, and then oh look, I got a new video, and it's of the girl that's a police officer tied to a chair.
Yeah.
What?
It's like,
Mike, you went
all right.
deeper than this than the rest of us.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, who's filming this?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
She's sending
Also,
me this video. How is she going to get out of that chair?
Oh, that's a good point.
It's a really
I'm
big
concerned
self-mistake.
for the police girl that somehow inexplicably got herself tied to a chair
Yeah. There's,
and now can't get out, but at least is filming it for my enjoyment.
yeah.
It's so weird. It's like I could see like a market for this kind of game, like a first-person dating sim type game that is like not this, like I still want to play it, but like I could see a more like wholesome, like actual live action dating sim and be like, okay, I get that there are people out there that like that. That's cool. Especially now we're all quarantined, like probably sell a quadrillion copies right now. Be like, hey, look at these beautiful women or men that you can date and whatever. But the way they do it is just not great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been in the boardroom when this game was pitched.
Yeah.
And just shaking your head and been like, what in the F are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
And
It's
to hear
just
the
so
people
weird.
that greenlit it.
Oh,
That's a wonderful idea. Let's push it through.
Don't you think? Because there's like, isn't there like DLC for this game too, or something like that?
Oh my god.
I thought so. I thought there was like different I could be wrong, but I thought there was like other DLC you could get for this game. But don't you think that this is like in line with like people that make games just to be so like raunchy and just so bad that people like will buy it just because like, oh my
For
god.
shock.
This is
I mean,
for shock
these guys just made Night Trap look really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
they did.
Okay, so there was a DLC this last winter, but it's called Midsummer Evening, and it's just evening costumes for 4 of the women.
Oh my god.
Oh, and
$17.99.
and special interactive videos and additional events. So never mind, there's more creepy videos.
Oh,
Don't you
okay.
worry.
Jeez.
Don't you worry.
I had a very, very morbid curiosity. What does this game cost?
Yeah, it is a good question.
Oh, so it is. I want to say it's $20. It's on sale right now for like $16 or something, but it's $20.
Wow.
Apparently that Midsummer Night DLC is actually free. But there's another DLC called Uniform Era that is under $2, and this is let's see, a new personality uniform, new interactive video, and new events for 4 characters. And the screenshot is one of them is dressed up as like a sexy nurse, one's like a flight attendant, one's a naughty teacher or something. Like it's
Wow.
yeah.
So
Can you imagine being an actor and actress in this? Like, I don't know.
I guess you got to get started somewhere.
Well,
It's a paycheck.
Like, I
That's a
hate to
good
say it,
point.
but yeah, like, what are they even getting paid for it? Like, is it even worth it at that juncture?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this was me when I was, I don't know how old they are, 22, 25. Like, I did this little gig. Will you hire me to play in the new Godzilla movie? Yeah, you're a background.
Yeah, it's a weird game.
It's a very weird one.
Yeah. I was on the same boat with you guys. I'm like, I don't really want to watch these videos, but I feel like if I want to talk about the game. So I was watching other people playing it because I felt made me feel like not as skeezy because they were making fun of it and it was like, funny.
So you're a voyeur of a voyeur.
I guess.
If it's enough removed, then it's okay. Like
Yeah,
if I watch someone
exactly.
someone watch someone play it, then I feel okay.
Yes.
It's like marrying your 4th cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay at that point.
But I was just like, I was just like, I feel really uncomfortable watching this. I had to like stop after a couple of minutes. I'm like, okay, I get the gist of the game. I don't need to see it anymore.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Wow.
So that's on the eShop, everyone. You can go buy it
Yeah.
now for I think it's $15.99. Go ahead and definitely pick it up.
Go check it out, you bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, you will be on a list, but yeah.
Enjoy your restraining order.
Yeah, exactly. So that is our segment of Strange Game on the eShop. Our game that we're talking about on Switching on a Budget segment is Xeodrifter. So, Mike, do you want to give us a little background of this game?
Sure. So Xeodrifter actually came out, was it probably about maybe 5 years ago? About 5 years ago, I think, for the 3DS originally. And then it made its way to pretty much all the other systems. And right now it's on the Switch. It's on sale right now for a very, very reasonable 99 cents. The game has I don't want to say 8-bit graphics, but it's definitely like an old school style.
I'd go 12.
But it's 12 bits. Okay,
12
sure.
bits.
12 between 8 and 16. It's 12.
There we go. So you play as a space man, I'm assuming, whose spaceship suffers some damage. So this space person needs to go on to 4 different planets to recover the different parts of his ship. And the only way to do that is by killing every living thing that resides on the planet.
How else do you fix a spaceship?
Exactly. Right. So the game has a lot of Metroidvania aspects to it, where you're hopping between the different planets once you get different power-ups. And you're fighting enemies. There's boss battles in the game, and very, very good boss battles. I haven't had a lot of boss battles that take me this long to beat them. They can take a long time depending on how powerful you are. So there's lots of hidden walls in the game where you can upgrade your weapon as well as your suit. So the cool thing about with the upgrades is you can collect up to a certain amount, and then you can utilize those to upgrade different parts of your weapon. So it's not like by the end of the game you can get a fully destructible BFG or something. You have to use these nodes into different slots on your gun. Like if you say, okay, I want this to be a spread gun, but I want the bullets to go really far. So I want to put half of them in my spread gun section. But then at the same time, I also want my bullets to be really fat so that the hit boxes, I'm hitting more enemies. So I'm going to put some of them in that box as well. But then I also want to shoot really fast. So, you have to kind of micromanage where you want to put your nodes in your weapon. But it's a fun game. I played it a long time ago. I got it again on the Switch because it's a great price. I will say, when we first got it, it made my son cry. So he was fighting the boss. I think the boss's second to last form, or the boss's second, the boss before the final boss.
Okay.
And it just kept beating him and beating him and beating him, and he was getting so frustrated with it. Good times.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can you beat this for me?" I'm like, "No, you will learn this on your own."
Wow.
Smacked him on the knuckles with the ruler.
That's right. You think I was able to beat Andros all by myself?
Yeah.
No!
Exactly.
So I really enjoy that game. I played it on the 3DS, I played it on the PS4, and I played it on the Switch.
Wow.
So it's a fun game. You can speed run it. You could beat the game probably in about 50 minutes to an hour or so if you know where you're going and know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
because you beat this game, right, Mike?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it took you like 50 minutes or so?
On my best run was about 50 minutes. When I first played it, it was probably about maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the price, yeah.
It's a good game. I like it. So before the show, we were kind of talking a little bit about the game. I'll just say that for myself, I don't rage quit things real often.
Really?
But I did rage quit. I was so mad. So I beat the first boss, which is super hard, and then I made it to the next level I was at, and I found some extra life, and I was like, yay, I got some extra life, and I made it to this conch shell like monster, and it killed me, and I had to start over, and I didn't have the extra life, and I was really, really, really mad, and I was like, I'm not doing that again, and I just turned it off.
Well, yeah, make sure you go back to your ship and save
Always
as much as you
save.
can.
No,
Yes.
but that's the problem. Jordan, back me up on this, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's old school.
Yeah, I think it's definitely old school. But yeah, I feel like when you're near like the end of the level, you're like, I mean, there was one point where I had just beaten a boss and I was heading back to like the beginning of the level to go back to my ship, and along the way, because I had gotten this new power to like plane shift into the back, I was picking up power-ups, but then I was dying along the way and then reloading right after the boss fight, because that's where it would take me. So then I have to go get the power-ups again, as opposed to them like, that was a checkpoint of like, okay, you got this power-up, at least you'll start here kind of thing. That would have been much more manageable and bearable, but yeah, it does. It can get frustrating.
So, Roger, let me ask, would you say that when you had that boss battle, when you said it was hard, would you say the boss was hard, or would you say the boss was challenging? Because there's a difference.
It was challenging.
Okay.
I mean, so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, once you figured out the pattern, just like any other, like...
Old school game?
Yeah, old school game, yeah. Like, but I was just thinking about this because I was thinking about the review that I wrote for Bubble Bobble for Friends, and I was saying how the boss battles there were like, they weren't like, once you figured out the pattern, like, you could easily beat the boss, and like that was, so I it just took me a couple times to look at the pattern and say, okay, I get what they're doing, and then I was able to beat the boss really quickly after I figured out the pattern. Like, in this game, I figured out the pattern, but I was still dying because you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to jump there. He was jumping, not running at me.
Yep.
And then like, how you'd shoot missiles and you're like, okay, I got to get so far away from him, like for the first boss, for instance. See, I don't know. I mean, I was really happy when I beat the first boss. I was like, holy crap, that was awesome. I'm so proud of myself. And then I made it to the level where the beam of death shoots at you, and I'm like, that sucked.
Oh, it's a big snail-looking creature?
Yeah, I think that's the one that shoots a big like laser at
Or
you.
the giant eye.
Oh, yeah. It's a big, like, floaty block thing, yeah.
Floaty block thing, yeah, with the giant eye. Yeah, I was like, that was not fun. And then we talked about this too, but like that wasp that kind of flies around.
Oh god, those things are the biggest pain in the butt in the entire game.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, I like the game a lot because it does bring me back to like the old school. It's a Metroidvania type game, right? So
with a big sprinkle of Mega Man like 2 into it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, once you start powering up and you start bouncing back and forth between the levels, like, it feels really, really nice. Like, once I got that phase shift thing, like, the entire game changed for me. I'm just like, all right, this game's awesome. It's no longer okay, it's awesome.
Yeah, I will say that when I was first playing it, I was like, I don't know. Like, it's cool. You can only shoot in 4 directions. It's very old school, like up, down, right, left. I was like, okay, that's cool. The music's actually pretty nice. I really like the art. But then when you get the phase shift upgrade, it's really cool. And what that is there's parts of the level that you'll go through that you can see there's like a second section like in the background of the art, and there's like other enemies and stuff, and so you phase shift back there, and the camera stays where it is, and so now you're just like really small, and you're still doing platforming or killing enemies back there or getting upgrades, and then sometimes you use that to like get to an area you couldn't before because you're phase shifting into the background, you're going forward like right or left, and then you're phase shifting back out into the foreground, and that was really, really cool. I like that a lot. Like, as soon as I got that upgrade, I was like, okay, this is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's where it clicked for me too.
Yeah. But then I got to the third boss, which I would say is not challenging, he's hard. The first 2 I would say are challenging, and once you like get the pattern, I was like, okay. The third one throws so much at you that's new it's like you're phase shifting, but then it also has some new abilities that I was like, I don't know about this. Like, his whole like goes into his jewel state thing.
Oh yeah,
and then,
you can't even touch him, and he just starts randomly like throwing the stuff in the background. You
exactly. And then raining
once
stuff
you get
down
that pattern,
on you.
it feels so good though.
So this is about that. That's the interesting. I'll give you a little pro tip. So you're talking about where the boss like creates that like protective bubble around him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There is a weapon in the game that you can get that will cause that to shatter.
I think I just got that.
So like, were you talking about like Mega Man 2? Like, I didn't know about this until I actually tried the weapon. I'm like, oh wow, it made it disappear right away.
And so you can go get that and then like come back to the boss?
Yeah, unless you have it already.
Well, but you have to kill the bosses to get to the point of that weapon. Are you talking about like the 5th thing that you unlock, Mike?
The which one?
The 5th one, like the heat of the sun or whatever it's called. I don't remember what it's called right now.
I think the weapon that you use. I mean, if you want, I mean, I could tell you if you don't mind. The weapon, I think it's like a charge shot.
Yeah, that's the one.
Use? Okay.
Because you got to destroy like the blackberries with that, right?
Yeah.
With the question mark. Damn it, Mike!
I didn't get that far in my Switch playthrough, so my mind's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, gotcha. No, it's like a red and black barrier that you can destroy when you charge it up and you shoot it at, and then you switch.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
heat on the left
exactly.
trigger. Yeah. It's pretty late in the game, but like once you get that, that's definitely a game changer. And I love the fact that like every time you unlock something new, you go back to the other worlds and you go back and get other health and power ups for your gun and that kind of stuff. Like it's a fun game.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting about the whole going, the foreground, background kind of thing with that phasing thing. Because that's very a 2E Jules Watson type mechanic. Because if you ever played Mutant Mudds, he does the same thing with that, where you go front and back. And it's really cool when you play it on the 3DS because it really pops out. That is really, really cool.
And speaking of which, there's also a secret Mutant Mudds Easter egg in the game.
Oh, is there?
Yep.
Cool.
I won't say what or where, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I really like it, and I love the look and the feel and the music and everything is really good. It's just, I mean, it's an old school game, right? So it's going to be very challenging.
Trials and tribulation.
Yeah. It it is funny because like, yeah, I don't think I've rage quit a game in a really long time since I was probably a kid when I was playing NAS, and now I've been playing this. I'm like,
Yeah. So if you're under 13, you'll cry. If you're over 13, you'll rage quit.
Yeah,
It's the same
exactly.
thing.
And if you're over 30, you'll understand.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And if you're over 40, you're like, I have better things to do. No, I'm just.
I didn't.
So
For
yeah,
the price in terms of it being on a budget, 99
Yeah,
cents.
it's 99 cents. Like, it's a good game for that price. Like,
Yeah.
I got sucked into it this afternoon like nobody's business. My girlfriend got pissed at me. She's like, you've been playing this game all day. And I'm like, it's only been 2 hours. Calm down.
well, if you're as good as Mike, you'd beat it in 50 minutes, Phil.
Mike's also played through it already. He cheated.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like my third playthrough.
I know.
Don't put me on a pedestal, Roger.
So that was our switching on a budget game. And so let us know if there's something that you want us to play on a switching on a budget. You can always let us know. You can send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. Let us know what you think of the show as well. We'd love to hear what kind of comments or what games you're playing in the indie world on the Nintendo Switch. All right, before we get out of here, let's go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us. We'll start with you, Phil. How can people get a hold of you?
I'm on Twitter at capital letter B, now 23.com. It just felt right.
Yeah, nice.
Like, follow,
Jordan,
subscribe, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Jordan, how can people get a hold of you?
I am also on Twitter at Cryptic Jordan.
Nice. And Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on Twitter at TCThrowers. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv/TCThrowers.
Nice. And listeners, you can always follow us at Gamerheads PC. We also do have a Nintendo or Nindie Focus Twitter account as well, and that's Focus Nindie. Boy, if we could talk today. And you can also go to website at gamerheadspodcast.com. You can read our reviews there, listen to podcasts. You can listen to music.
What music is there?
I don't know. There is no music there, but you can listen to music while you check out our website. But yeah, you can check us out there. And then also I will be streaming more as well. So you can check us out on twitch.tv/gamerheadspodcast. And I'll probably be streaming a lot of the games that we talk about here. So
I know one game you won't be streaming.
oh yeah, no, I'm not going to be streaming that game. I'll tell you that.
That's what he says now. Tune in at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Phil, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having it, of course.
And Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
Always.
And Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And listeners, thank you so much for giving us a listen. And yeah, we appreciate the fact that you spend a little time out of your day with us. So with that, we'll talk to you next week, and game on. See ya.
So long.
Have a nice day.
Bye.